The 2020 presidential race is shaping up to be a spectacular battle royale. On one corner, you have the demented pedophile, and on the other corner, you have the orange demented pedophile. On one hand, Joe Biden, who is fundamentally unequipped to be our president due to his severe cognitive decline, and Donald Trump, the reality TV star. It's funny to me that for all this talk of electability and beating the big bad evil dude, the candidate who is obviously most fit and most capable of doing that, Bernie Sanders, has taken the knee and is now genuflecting at the altar of the Democratic establishment, backing their pre selected NPC candidate. So, first and foremost, I want to challenge this narrative that Donald Trump is somehow the worst thing to have ever happened to this country in the history of America, and that we must absolutely beat him at all costs. I don't doubt the guy has implemented a great deal of reactionary policies that are very damaging to the working class, but what do you expect? It's the President of the United States. If you look at Donald Trump's policies and compare them to any of our last few presidents, you'll find that Trump really isn't that much different from any other standard Republican, or even Barack Obama for that matter.
George Bush Jr. ran a record-high deficit at $3.3 trillion, with Obama breaking that record at $6.9 trillion, and with Trump's recent tax cuts a couple of years back, is currently running a $3 trillion deficit. The drone program began under Bush, but was massively expanded under Obama and then massively expanded yet again under Trump. The defense budget has been increasing linearly for decades, rising from $614 billion per year under Bush to a peak of $805 billion under Obama after accounting for the costs of the Iraq and Afghanistan war, and is currently floating around $750 billion under Donald Trump. Bush voted for the bailouts at the taxpayers' expense during the recession of 2008. Obama voted for the bailouts at the taxpayers' expense during the recession of 2008. And Trump's stimulus package is looking to be a $4 trillion giveaway to Wall Street here in the current 2020 recession. The concentration camps for asylum-seeking refugees existed under Bush, with populations exploding under Barack Obama and then exploding yet again under Donald Trump. All three presidents, Bush, Obama, and Trump, voted for increases in the degree to which the government can spy on you, violating your privacy rights, as well as pushing for stricter regulation of the internet with the eventual repeal of net neutrality under Donald Trump. None of them are in favor of Medicare for all, or raising wages, or tuition-free college, or ending the war on drugs, or building up our infrastructure, or doing anything to meaningfully tackle climate change.
So, as you can see, Donald Trump's policies are little more than the logical continuation of policies set up by previous presidential administrations. And to think Biden wouldn't simply continue these policies in the same manner as Obama is laughable. Biden was Obama's vice president after all. Like Trump, Biden is a sexual predator, with several active lawsuits against him in this regard. Biden voted for the war in Iraq. He is in favor of aggressive diplomacy with Iran. He was in favor of the unilateral bombing of Libya, is a self-proclaimed Zionist, meaning he is pro-apartheid and genocide. He has played a leading role in the arbitrary imprisonment of countless working-class people as a champion of the war on drugs, voted for the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act, which leads to the construction of more prisons, increased prison sentences, and increasing the number of cops on the streets. He is an advocate of gun control, although if you are a liberal, I suppose you think that's a good thing. He was a co-sponsor of the Employee Free Choice Act, which was a bill that worked to effectively castrate unions in the United States. He voted in favor of NAFTA and the offshoring of American jobs in the 1990s. He has been advocating for gutting Social Security for decades. And by the way, he's terrible on social issues as well. He was in favor of outlawing homosexuals serving in the U.S. military. He was a segregationist and carried water for the Ku Klux Klan back during the Civil Rights era. Biden has been a long supporter of the Hyde Amendment, which bars government funding for women's abortions except in the case of rape. But of course, Biden's more socially progressive nowadays, isn't he? Too bad he wasn't socially progressive decades ago when it actually mattered. No, only that these positions are mainstream, and it's politically convenient to be pro-abortion. pro-LGBT and a non-segregationist has he changed his stances. In other words, only now that it's completely non-consequential is he socially progressive. It's funny to me, for all the accusations that liberals make against Trump for his racism, sexism, and bigotry, they don't stop to think, so is Joe Biden. And for all the supposed left's desire to tell you to go vote for the lesser of two evils, they don't take into account that Biden and Trump have a lot more in common than not. Almost as though, whether you vote blue or red, the choice is really non-consequential. It's almost as though no matter who the candidate is, Big Pharma, Wall Street, Big Oil, the deep state, and the military-industrial complex are prioritized over the interests of working-class people. In fact, while we're working on this line of reasoning, I could actually make a compelling case that Trump is the more suitable candidate to be our president than Biden. Joe Biden is suffering from a severe case of sundown syndrome, which means his cognitive ability is in steadfast decline. And to be sure, Donald Trump's mental faculties are also declining, but they're a hell of a lot better than Biden. At least he can speak coherent sentences and not babble randomly about mundane shit.
But as you stand here tonight, what responsibility do you think that Americans need to take to repair the legacy of slavery in our country?
Well, they have to deal with look, there is institutional segregation in this country. And from the time I got involved, I started dealing with that. Redlining, banks, making sure that we are in a position where, look, we talk about education. I propose that what we take is those very poor schools, the Title I schools, triple the amount of money we spend, from 15 to 45 billion a year. Give every single teacher a raise, an equal raise of getting out of the $60,000 level. Number two, make sure that we bring in to help the teachers deal with the problems that come from home. The problems that come from home, we have one school psychologist for every 1,500 kids in America today. It's crazy. The teachers are, and I'm married to a teacher. My deceased wife is a teacher. They have every problem coming to them. We have to make sure that every single child does, in fact, have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds go to school, not daycare, school. We bring social workers into homes and parents to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words. A kid coming from a very poor school, or a very poor background, will hear 4 million words fewer spoken by the time they get there.
I don't know about you guys, but I would rather have the president be somebody who isn't mentally ill. And if we are going by that logic of lesser of two evils, Trump is less mentally ill than Biden, and by extension, Trump is more suitable to be president than Joe Biden. And another thing, at least Trump has the balls to call out his competition on their bullshit. At least Trump is more honest about U.S. foreign policy and what this country is actually about and what it really represents.
You have to take out their families. When you get these terrorists, you have to take out their families.
Somebody criticized me the other day because they asked me what I do, and I said, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them.
We should have kept the oil when we got out. And you know, it's very interesting. Had we taken the oil, you wouldn't have ISIS. Because they fuel themselves with the oil. That's where they got the money.
So you believe we can go in and take the oil?
We should have taken the oil.
The Republican and Democratic parties are both on practically the same billionaire oligarch payrolls. The only people the Republican and Democrats represent are the neocon oligarchs and the neoliberal oligarchs, i.e., not you. They are both sects of the one-party dictatorship of capital, and to advocate for one party over another as to do some sort of damage mitigation is patently absurd, because they both represent the material interests of the capitalist class. Why are the Democrats considered to be better? What, because some of them occasionally pay lip service to minority groups and flirt with the idea of giving the proles more breadcrumbs? So it's clear that neither party represents you, so why not support a party that actually does? Why not protest the system and vote for a party that's actually pro-worker, i.e. socialist, communist? The usual answer is because they can't win. Third parties are unviable because they don't have the funding or the support to be on the presidential debate stage or on the ballot box. The support simply isn't there. But if both presidential candidates don't support your interests, it's clear that the Democrats have chosen the weaker candidate, and thus it is less likely that they are to win anyways. Why get behind a candidate who doesn't actually represent you? For those of you who have been paying attention, you would know that this electability strategy has already been tried in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. And look what happened. She lost. And the reason she lost is because she's fundamentally awful. Donald Trump has the love of his constituency, Hillary Clinton does not. Donald Trump gets his voters enthusiastic about voting for him, Joe Biden does not. And because of this, Donald Trump has the upper hand. The point of supporting a third party, of course, is not to win, but to use bourgeois parliamentarism as a platform to get socialist ideas out there. It is to connect with the masses and to help them understand that things don't have to be the way that they are, and that we can change things if we come together and fight for it. Because what you have to understand is that nothing meaningful has ever changed by people simply voting. Things change when people are organized from the bottom up to disrupt the status quo as usual. This means striking, agitation, organization, producing propaganda, organizing workplaces into Soviets, and otherwise engaging in actions from the grassroots to bring about real social change. If you guys want a good idea of what we should be doing right now in terms of political strategy, I encourage you to look into the history and activities of the Black Panthers Party of the 1970s. Groups like these are infinitely more useful than the Zizeks, Chomskys, and Hedges of the world will ever be. These people, along with these supposedly leftist YouTube channels that are telling you to vote blue no matter who, are really showing their true colors right now. These people aren't socialists, they're not communists. They're Soviet-bashing Chomskyite careerists that are only trying to make a name for themselves. These people aren't actually interested in doing socialism. They don't stand for the masses. They aren't revolutionary. And as far as I'm concerned, they're radlibs. Because rather than agitating for collective action against the system, they'd rather tell you to engage in this disconnected, milquetoast, individualistic, symbolic activity of voting. Oh, we just need to vote for the right candidate, guys. Oh, we just need to vote for Bernie Sanders. Oh, the DNC rat fucked him again. Oh, he lost. Oh, he's endorsing Joe Biden. Oh, but look, we gotta vote for the lesser of two evils now, guys. We have to vote for the candidate that will only screw over workers 99% of the time instead of 100% of the time. Come on, guys, we have to do this. Don't go out there and actually organize with other workers and do any sort of grassroots work. No, just stay inside and vote. Please. We better watch out for these people, because when the revolution comes, they will be among the first to throw us under the bus. Anyways, that's all I have to say. If you enjoyed my rant and resonate with it, feel free to like or dislike, comment, and subscribe. That's all I have to say for now. Peace out.